Uh-huh. What's poppin', y'all? Come on in. 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 Hey, KJ, get fit with KJ. We're definitely going live tomorrow. We'll run with the winners. Excuse me. Q, what's poppin'? Come on in, guy. Yeah. This is probably... Shout out to Avion Tequila. Yeah, KJ. We're going to get some workout in tomorrow. Run with the winners. Evan Spraggins, I appreciate your love and support. There you go, Evan Spraggins. There you go. Appreciate you, brother. So, guys, what's popping? So, if you're not familiar, you should get familiar. I'm just waiting on my girl, Sidnee. I do this podcast called Friends of the Program. This is my podcast that I put together not too long ago. And, yeah, I just have my friends come on and, I drop episodes. So I figure, since we're in this super intimate digital and live world, that not only would I drop, the audio of it, I actually speak to my friends, with you guys for a second. It won't take too long. I just want y'all to, get to know them a little bit. And then you can check out my pinned comment. Make sure y'all check her out. Sidnee Michelle, she's amazing. And our new podcast, our latest podcast, episode 8008 is up right now on Friends of the Program. So just waiting for Sid to get in here. And, we actually don't have a script or anything. So that's why I like what I do with my friends, because we could just, go in like this, and get busy like this. So, Sid, I see you. Let me go ahead and request you now. Well, let you request me. Excuse me. By the way, I've never done this. Excuse me.
Hey, Steph.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You can see me. I can see you. I think we're sounding good.
Yes.
I think we hooked this up a little better than Teddy Riley and Babyface yesterday. So
I was gonna say, I hope you don't have any connection issues like they did, because
you know what the thing is, and this is probably gonna come back to haunt me. Shout out to my brother Low Key. He's in the building. Your brother Low Key as well, yeah. Lloyd, my favorite coach in the world, he's in here. Lloyd Pierce, go Atlanta Hawks. I am a Cav though, so go Cavs, but that's family. This is gonna probably come back and haunt me, but excuse me. I don't use my Wi-Fi when I go live. I just use the data plan.
Okay.
And I guess sometimes it may, rack up rack up some, but I would rather do that than have this going in and out and all of that. So I'll deal with AT&T when I go them. So what's going on? What you doing over there?
It's funny you say that, because I saw like memes on Twitter yesterday. It's like a meme frenzy right now, especially with the Teddy Riley battle. But I saw a meme that said too many people was on his Wi-Fi at his house.
Oh, I mean, that could be a thing.
It could be a thing, because I know, like, when I have my computer, like my cable, my TV, and everything hooked up, it gets a little crazy. But they got it together, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I can't complain too much.
Well, let's get on to this. For everybody that's tuning in right now, this is the my great friend, amazing friend, Sidnee Michelle. She's a celebrity journalist. She's a celebrity reporter. She's a world traveler. She's an all-around dope person that I happen to be friends with, and I appreciate it. So the reason, I'm telling you, Sidnee, and everyone else, excuse me, the reason why I started this podcast is because I actually like to talk to my friends, but I have a lot of friends that are like super popping, like out of this world, some of the biggest entities and people in the arenas of what they do, and they get those accolades all the time. But then I have other groups of friends that are extremely dope, and as dope as these you know what I'm saying, mega stars and friends like that that may not get the acclaim and notoriety that they do. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast called Friends of the Program, where these friends of the program, I get on, we call each other or we sit face to face and we just talk because we're friends and we can be open with each other. So that's the origin of Friends of the Program. Basically so far, everyone I've had on here has been a genuine friend that I have history with. And I'm going to continue to move in such the like. I like that. I feel it opens up for great conversation. It's very light and fun. And we had a great time yesterday, I think. I mean, that was honestly one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying, thus far. So I really, really appreciate you. So first of all, how have you been dealing with this? Well, first of all, give everyone, a little background on you. You went to Hampton University.
Come on. You always do that on purpose.
HU, right? Hampton University?
No. We went to the Are we stuck? We good?
All right. I'm blaming you because I'm not using Wi-Fi. All right, so.
Okay.
All right, so you went to Hampton University.
Me? We good?
No, I can hear you. We're fine.
Okay, we good. Yeah, no, never. Went to the illustrious Howard University, studied broadcast journalism there. Started at the Source Mag as an intern, kind of moved my way up to reporter, like on-camera personality, whatever you want to call it. From there, I left and went to Forbes and started there as a editorial assistant. Exactly. Lo said, don't be disrespecting me like that. You can never get that mixed up, Steph. You did that yesterday. And I love the trolling, but we're not going to get into that Howard Hampton battle. But anyway, left the Source, went to Forbes, where I started there as an editorial assistant, and then the lead editor there for the media and entertainment vertical, Zach Greenberg. He's an awesome journalist as well. Kind of got hip to my background, and he's like, oh, you want to come over here and write about hip hop and entertainment? I'm like, heck yes. Why wouldn't I? So I had to kind of like split my duties there. And then while I was at Forbes, I was lucky enough to become the first woman of color and Black woman to report there on camera ever. And like I told you yesterday, that was in 2016, which is wild to think about because, Forbes has been an establishment since the late 70s. So it's like for them to not have a Black woman on camera reporting about culture and entertainment and music and all that stuff, it was crazy to me. So I was happy.
No, it's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it, but I'm blessed that I was able to knock down that door. And then from there, I left. I was there at Forbes for almost 2 years, and then I went to Complex, and we started a business and entertainment channel that focus on the business side of entertainment and music and all that stuff. And I saw that you interviewed Sutai. She actually was one of our interviews for that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. It kind of brings things full circle. Shout out to her. She's Haylene. Shout out to her. She's an amazing artist.
That's like it's crazy. That's like one of my best friends.
Yes,
like,
I know. And I saw that. So I was just looking through the Friends of the Program Instagram today, and I saw that you had her on here. So that's so dope. Like, I think she's just a cool ass person.
She's amazing.
And she's an amazing artist. So shout out to her. So while we were at Complex, I was there for almost a year, and I left Complex and just started working for myself / freelancing.
So you're working for yourself now?
Yes, I guess you could say that.
Do you like this? Do you like this working for yourself more than with those mega companies, with the Complex, with the Forbes? Do you like which arena do you like best? Honestly.
Yeah, it's hard because there was pros and cons of both. definitely while I was at Forbes and Complex, I got to learn a lot. I got to make, you know, these amazing connections that I still have to this day. And I also got to diversify the type of content that Forbes put out. You know, literally interviewing like friends slash business friends like Karen Civil, and being able to talk to all these different people who wouldn't normally be on there at that time. Like, she's all over Forbes now, but this is back in 2016. So when she was doing her like her activations in Haiti for charity, like her, and then I got
shout out to Karen.
Shout out to Karen. And then literally got to interview like some of my favorite artists like Kalani and Nick Jonas and Tyra Banks. She's not an artist, but Fetty Wap. At that time, they were super, super popping. I mean, they still are now.
I mean, you don't have to put it. You don't have to put a disclaimer on Fetty Wap because he doesn't have any new music. We know who Fetty. Don't do that.
For me,
that was kind of a slap in the face. Shout out to Fetty Wap.
No, stop it, Steph. For me, it was like a really big deal, and it's like, I know, like, sometimes you say people's names and everybody's like, eh. But for me, especially back then, it was a huge deal. Just like, you know, coming from the source where it was like extremely hip hop and extremely urban culture, which I love. But then going to Forbes and being able to do like a mix of things, so that was cool. But to go to your question, there's pros and cons of both. Like I said, I learned amazing things while I was at Forbes, while I was at Complex. I kind of got like my bearings as a journalist in a professional and corporate world. But working for myself and freelancing, I'm able to both, you know, do these entertainment interviews and these music interviews, but also travel, because that's like a huge thing for me. And I've been blessed with parents who've been traveling with me since I was a young kid. But I partnered with my partner with Black Travel Journey, Sidnee Danielle, 2 Sidnees, yes, I know.
2 Sidnees, shout out to the 2 Sidnees.
Sid squared, and just kind of got on board with that and was able to travel all around the world and diversify the face of travel. So, you know, evolve in all these companies where you see, you know, these like certain type of people. I don't want to. These good-looking Caucasian.
What are you talking?
people.
You can say beautiful white, slim white girls with long blonde hair. You can say it. You can say it. It is what it is.
I never try and shade any women, but no shade to them. But you know, it was one type of woman that you would see with, you know, these Revolved influencers trips and all these different type of influencer trips. So we're like, we have great personalities, great, beautiful people of all different shades and sizes that we want to bring on these influencers trips. So that's where that idea came from. And we were able to take so many people on trips. Literally like Mac Wilds, Tatiana, who's America's Next Top Model.
Hold on, before you get into the traveling. So the reason I asked you about the comparing, you know, working for Forbes, working for Source, working for Complex versus working for yourself. Right. You know, we live in this internet age where everybody's a boss, and everybody, like, you know, if you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, everybody want to work for themselves. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. And at the end of the day, like, honestly, that's just not feasible. Everybody isn't built to be, excuse me, everybody isn't built to work for themselves. Everybody isn't supposed to be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like, a great friend of mine, Maverick Carter, I remember, he probably doesn't even remember saying this, but like one day we were just hanging out and he was just like, yo, everybody's not supposed to be rich. Like, everybody won't be rich. It just won't happen, you know? So I find a lot of times, like, especially like young Black people, we get caught up in this. I'm not about to work. I'm not working for anybody. I'm working for myself. When in actuality, sometimes, you know, it's better to work, especially in an environment like this. Yo, you know how many creatives are out of a job right now because they work for themselves?
Exactly. And that's what goes back to the cons. I mean, I was mentioning the pros, but the cons, it's like when you work for yourself, you know, I have someone who I work with who's kind of like my manager, so to speak, but it gets challenging, you know, like having to work with them to book people where, you know, these big companies, they have talent bookers like on staff. So they do that stuff for you. Right. And then also having, I mean, to be honest, like a constant check. When you're with these big companies, you know you're going to get paid X amount of dollars.
Especially now.
Right. Every 15th and every 30th of every month. And you know, I'm making good money now. I can't really complain. But there's some like months in the past, I think 2.5 years I've been working for myself / freelancing. There's been some months that haven't been so fruitful.
Yeah,
And
I
to
mean,
be
it happens.
honest,
I'm gonna be honest. Like,
it happened. Like I've still been
like
straight
me
up
being a
college.
DJ. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, me being a DJ. Like, I mean, I know, people
See,
see,
exactly.
people assume certain stuff, but it's been times where I went without. I've had a consistent weekly for whatever, and then it's times where I don't have that weekly anymore for however long, and it's like that however much money I was making on that Friday every week, it's not there anymore, and it's like you find other ways you do trap, but it's like, trust me, like it's not being working for yourself and being a DJ that works for yourself is not the easiest thing. Being a journalist working for yourself is not the easiest thing
it's
all
not
the time.
easy at all, Steph. And to be honest, like people like see my Instagram or they'll see my work and they'll be like, oh, like you live such amazing life or da da da, and like they'll send these like we talked about yesterday when we had these press junkets and these interviews. They'll send me all around the world, put me up, but it's just like, again, there's months where they're not releasing a lot of movies. There's months where there's no new TV shows that are coming out, and there's months where the checks aren't flowing like they used to.
And you're waiting on that net 30, and then we're dealing with companies that give us net 30, net 60.
God, I hate net 30.
Oh God, yo, I'm gonna be so honest. I'm so glad the coronavirus pandemic crisis, whatever we want to call it, I'm glad it hit when it did, because it hit at about net 30 for All-Star Weekend, and I was like, thank you God. I know I got these things coming in.
Yeah, and I see people in the comments net 30, net 90,
net 90. Like, I've had net 365. I'm like, where's the check? Did y'all forget it? Did y'all forget about me? What are y'all?
Yeah, and trust me, I've had those times too when you gotta send a little email per my last email. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's pros and cons of each. So I would never want to let one side, I would never want to tell people like, don't shoot, you have, like you said, you have to work for yourself or you have to be your own boss. Because honestly, like I said, I learned so much of all the lessons that I've learned now. I've learned them with those big companies. But on the flip side of that, I also say, if you have the means, if you have the following, if you have all that to work for yourself and you really don't want to work for someone else or another big company, go ahead and do that. Like, It really depends on the person, but I hate people who are like, oh, be your own boss, head ass.
Yeah,
like you gotta not work for the man and this
right.
And I'm just like, that, like you said, that doesn't work for everyone. It didn't work for me from the beginning of my career, and you know what? I'm blessed to work with these big companies, but I'm just at a point where now it does work. I hate people who be like, oh, you gotta be your own boss. Like, shut that shit up, please.
Right. It's not like it's not for everybody, but what you're doing is amazing. I see the press junkets that you do. So one thing I like to do with our friends of the program, I tell everybody how we met. So I actually met, big shout out to my girl Saxon here. Congratulations. She just got a new job with the Washington Wizards. But
hey, congratulations.
I actually met Sidnee at it was a random party. I was DJing in New York, and someone booked me for this random party because the Cavs were in town. And, I travel with the Cavs and do, pre-parties, after parties or whatever. And I was doing a random party, and Sidnee was in there twerking like crazy.
I was not.
She was in there twerking like.
Please don't lie to these people.
She was in there like twerking like crazy. And at the time, it was in the party, I guess, was put together by a group of amazing women that I didn't know all of at the time, but now I know them. So I knew I knew Raven. Amazing photographer, Ravy B. So I knew her and Kayla from Game 7. But these ladies had a group party called Body Roll, and I was actually one of the DJs for the party. So I met a great friend of mine, Ramya. She's an amazing manager, amazing person, great friend. And then I met Sidnee as well. And like when Sidnee, finally took time off from twerking and going crazy, we were able to meet. We became cool. And that's why we are here where we're at right now. So that's how our friendship started. And
big shout out to Body Roll. I actually was talking with Annie and with Mel. I sent them.
Shout out to Mel. Mel works for Tidal. Shout out to Tidal. She took me on my tour.
Our DJ. I mean, the link to our interview yesterday, and I was like, shout out to them. Annie, who's at Mass Appeal, Mel, who's at Tidal, Kayla, who's like my big sister. She's at Capitol Records.
Capitol, yeah.
Yeah. And they honestly just started a party that is such a good vibe, and it's like like-minded, like industry people could come and dance and have an amazing time without feeling judged or without feeling anything. So Kayla's my big sister, so she's like, yeah, like tell your people. And then, you know, we went from a small basement type of feel. I think it was at like China Chalet or what was that other place called? We went from something small to something huge, to ending up, you know, doing it at Public Hotel and things like that. So it's just a really good party. It ended up being a monthly thing that people would look forward to. We tried to do it during the week, which wasn't too normal. But again,
it was like Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, right?
And it's just a way for like people, especially in the working world, to come out and like when you're super stressed out and it's the middle of the week, you know, we'd started at like 9 p.m. and it'll go to like 12 or 1. So, you know,
but you have the luxury of being
the next morning.
You have the luxury of being, excuse me, you have the luxury of being in New York City and doing that. That's not happening too many places other than like New York or like you're not getting a Tuesday. Come on, in Cleveland, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But New York, you got, I mean, so, you know, you're blessed from being, you're from New York, right? Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, you know what?
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
You can't say you don't have a love for us. So
no, I do. I love you. You know what's so funny?
Though, because Body Roll is definitely a movement. Hopefully we can bring it back. My girl D in the comments. Body Roll is such a movement, and it's crazy that we met there all those years ago. And we also have the best DJs, so you felt right in line. So
no, that is right. But it's crazy how like most of my lady friends and just friends, period, even like our low-keys in here, all of you guys in New York City, you kind of like know each other, and we are, you know, building with each other. So I do appreciate that, especially in this time where, you know, us creatives, I don't even like saying that word too much, like creatives and influencers and all that, but like the creative folk have to stick together. But outside of you doing your journalism and excuse me, your reporting, you're a world traveler. And I mean, you know, I see the excuse me, I see the pictures on your Instagram, and you know, sometimes I'm like, is she on a vacation or what's going on? I mean, it's a lot of solo bikini pics, and I don't see any men or somebody's taking a picture. So
no, it's honestly
if it's vacations, it's fine. It's fine.
No, I haven't had
Lloyd, I got you.
Yet. Hopefully that will happen soon, and I will let you know about that experience.
You never been on a vacation?
One.
All right. Was it bad? Is that why you haven't been on another one?
But,
it was bad.
I don't want to say it was bad.
My thing is, you can't really have you can't really have a bad vacation with someone that you're kind of established with, because y'all know each other. Now, if this is a new vacation, then it could get weird. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, what happened was
this is when left, by the way, guys.
And it was towards the end of what we had going on.
Oh, y'all were trying to save it. Y'all was trying to save it.
Right. But it was like a save the relationship vacation, and it didn't save shit. So
that's not gonna work.
Yeah, we had a great time, but it just kind of proved what we already knew, that we don't need to come together.
The thing was with that, he got played. You knew you were out of that relationship. You just wanted that free trip overseas.
Oh, it wasn't free. It wasn't free, honey. We split that shit 50-50.
Oh, that ain't no vacation then. That's a trip.
I've been blessed enough to have certain perks when I travel. Like, a lot of the times when people hear that, you know, you're with Black Travel Journey, they want to offer you, like a free stay or
all right,
just so they can get their promotion. And that's ended up working. But we split it 50-50. I'm big on that. Like,
I'm not big on that. Excuse me. I'm not. Maybe I have old traditional ways. I am not big
and you're gonna
on.
find an amazing woman who is gonna appreciate the shit out of you.
But I'm saying, even if you have that, I don't think if you go on a vacation with a lady or your lady or your bae or whatever, she shouldn't have to pay. Like
Yeah, but
what should she have to pay for?
I know. And if you're in like a solid relationship or like dealing with somebody else, boyfriend, girlfriend, that's for sure. But again, we are in the end of our relationship, and I'm a very prideful person, so I'm like, we're gonna have this or this vacation, and you're not gonna be able to throw it back in my face that you paid.
Cut it out.
No, I'm so like that.
Come on.
Like, literally, people have offered me to fly me here. Nah.
Ooh, fly outs.
No, I don't do fly outs. I don't do those because I don't like people to be able to hold that over my head.
But you have to stop thinking like that. That is an issue. That's internal. That is you can't just automatically think that a man is going to be like. And I'm not talking about flying out. I don't want to have that conversation. I'm talking about the vacation. You can't just automatically think that a man is going to like have you on a vacation and whatever and be like, at some point when y'all get back, you're going to be like, you know what? I remember when I took you there and did that. That's whack. You can't think
but
that.
Literally, there's people in the comments like some men do that though, and
now that's different.
But there's some women in the comments who are saying that men definitely do that, and will try and hold it over your head and be like, oh, well, I paid. Nah, that's not going to happen over here. Like, I'm cool with going 50-50. While we there, if you want to take care of the dinners, I'm fine with that. But I can never be that type of girl. I'm sorry. All right. That's just not in me. But we need to get back.
All right, switching gears. Switching gears because this is turning into switching gears, but keeping with travel, especially Black travel. Yeah. I think it's so important. I think it's so important for Black people. I don't want to say African Americans. By the way, shout out to you. You guys have to listen to our podcast. So it's in the pinned comment. Friends of the program. Me and Sidnee did the podcast yesterday, and she went to a Catholic high school. I didn't tell you this, but I went to a Catholic high school, Catholic all boys high school as well. Shout out to Benedictine. She was in a club. It was so wild. She was in a club called the African American Club. That's kind of like, that's borderline racist for that to be the name of the club. But anyway, y'all listen to the podcast and y'all will hear more about that.
Y'all listen to the podcast. For the record, you can't be having our club look corny out here for that. For the record, I went to a Catholic high school, and every name, every like funky, cool name we try to come up with, our high school was ran by nuns, literally nuns. So Sister Donna, I don't know if she's still alive or she's listening or whatever.
She's not.
But she shot down everything we had. So she's like, well, you guys can name it like the other clubs. There was the Hispanic American Club. There's the Asian American Club. She said, y'all could be the African. If y'all want to do this, y'all could be the African American Club. So that's what we
That's why.
That's a whole different story.
So
but yes,
I'm so adamant about Black travel because I grew up east side of Cleveland, the hood, Kinsman, Harvard area, and I've seen a lot of guys get a lot of money since we were young, and still have a lot of money to this day that have never left their block, that have never left their hood, that have never left their city. And if they leave the city, and I do not travel shame, but if they leave the city, they only go to like two places, Miami or Vegas. Yep. And I'm like, yo, you have so much money. Yeah. You need to travel more and go see. So I'm very adamant about Black travel and, Black people experiencing other cultures, other lands. How do you feel about that as well?
Yeah, that's been a passion of mine. Like I said, for all you guys to tune in, definitely go follow Black Travel Journey. It's spelled like it sounds. We have, yes, my girl D's in the comments said international travel opens your perspective on worldviews. And that's literally like our mission, not only to diversify the face of travel with people of color, but to also really kind of give people these different experiences. And you guys could listen to me and Steph's interview yesterday, but just for an example, we took a certain rapper out of the country for the first time. We took him to Honduras, and it was really interesting to see him open up. You know, this is a guy who on the plane while we're going there, he's like, I'm not eating nothing but chicken fingers and french fries. And we touched down, and he's like, I don't want to eat nothing. And I'm just like, yo, just try things. Just open your perspective. And it was very hard at first, but by the end of the trip, you know, we had all these experiences going to these different parts of Honduras where they have the Garifuna people, which are, like I told you, Steph, are direct descendants of the slaves that were dropped in Honduras. So there's a part of the country, a majority of the country, it's most Spanish-speaking, Spanish-looking people. But when you go to this part of the country, it's people who look like us, all different shades. They're playing the steel drums. Wow. They're playing, doing the African dances. And for him to see that, it was like really life-changing for him. And it's a pain in my ass that he was in the beginning of that trip. By the end of that trip, he really came to us and he's like, yo, thank you. Like, I want to go see this culture. I want to go to Africa where these people actually come from. I want to go there. I was like, well, I don't know about they got chicken fingers and french fries in Africa, but he was really just thankful, and we really just opened his mind up to different things. So that's really what we want to do. And we want to
explain exactly what Black Travel Journey is.
Yes, so it's a blog, and it's a platform. We share all different types of people's travel content. You just don't have to be Black, just of color, but we just named it that because that's kind of what we focus on, because we didn't see a focus of that on that in the travel world. So it's just a platform. We do influencer trips. We do smaller, like media press trips, go to different places that people may not have thought of initially when they're planning their travels. You know, sometimes people go to, literally someone's in the comments saying traveling is food for soul. Literally all these things that everyone's saying is so true, like we spoke about yesterday.
You know what's crazy? When I go out the country, they think I'm 50 Cent. No.
And that's what I said when I went to Europe. They're like, oh, Rihanna. And I'm like, hey, y'all. No, for real. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Make sure you guys definitely check out the interview, because we talked about do's and don'ts of traveling. We talked about how not to get offended if people call you 50 Cent and people call me Alicia
I loved it.
Or whatever. I did too.
I said, y'all should see me with my shirt off. No, but look, so I think we were in Italy. And the Ubers there were different. Ubers were all like Benzes and Benz trucks, the ones like, because they didn't have like Uber X or whatever. And I'm gonna be very honest. I'm kind of frugal. I don't need to have Uber Black all the time, guys. I go Uber what's gonna get me there, and it just so happens it was luxury in Italy. But anyway, so we pull up to this dinner spot in Italy, and it's like an Uber. It's like an Uber. What's the big van? The Benz Sprinter. It's like an Uber Sprinter. It's like an Uber Sprinter Benz. I hop out. Everybody at the restaurant is like, and I'm like, yo, what is it? I'm like,
smile and wave. Smile and wave.
And she like, I think they think you're famous. And I'm like, I'm popping over here. And then one of the guys, I heard I said, oh my God, they think I'm 50 Cent.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's even.
And I can see the Rihanna with you, the forehead and everything.
Oh, thank you.
No, I got a big forehead too.
Listen, I don't take forehead as shame anymore. Forehead jokes as shame anymore.
I would show y'all my forehead, but my hair is so crazy right now.
I with big foreheads, okay?
All right.
Rihanna is the leader. The leader of it.
Give us one do. Give us two do's. Give us two do's of traveling abroad, especially if you're a person of color. Two do's.
Two do's. One, they're kind of tied together, like we spoke about yesterday. One do would definitely be like, definitely center on planning, having well-planned trips, especially if you're traveling by yourself. A lot of the times the airports and the places that you go from point A to point B are very dangerous, can be dangerous if people see you looking vulnerable and you're like, you're scrambling for your travel to your hotel, or, you're just standing out there, don't really know what's going on. So that, I think, well planning is definitely a do when you're traveling. And that goes into my due of going off the resort or the hotel or the area that you're staying in, and that due, it goes back and connects to the other due, because if you have that well planned, you can really see different parts of the country that you're in, without being in danger, without taking a risk. So it's like, if you plan out a trip, you want to go to Jamaica, let's say, plan out, research a good tour guide, a good tour company, reach out to your friends from Jamaica and be like, hey, do you know anyone that could take me, off the resort around the island, so I could see the people, I could feel the culture, and definitely eat the food. So those are my two dues.
Hold on, let me give you, so one, a due, we didn't speak about this yesterday, but I wanted to speak about it now. And I've just been blessed with a great travel agent. So if you can get a good travel agent, get a good travel agent that knows you and knows what you like. So I'll say this because so when y'all president, when he got elected into office, the world was like, I was like, so every year I go out of the country in July, and so when he got elected president, I'm like, I don't think I want to go abroad. You know what I'm saying? This year, I don't think they're really rocking with Americans. So let's do something that's, and we had never been to Hawaii. So we went to Hawaii, but I contacted my travel agent before the Hawaii trip. Like, look, I want to go to Hawaii. I want to do this. Now, if I would have booked Hawaii myself, I wouldn't have had the greatest experience. I would have just went to Honolulu, and no disrespect to Honolulu, but once we got to Honolulu, it was just like Miami Beach. And I was just like,
super touristy.
If I would have spent 10 to 14 days there, I would have been so mad. Not like so I told her what I wanted to do, and she booked all the islands, and it was, it was cheap because she knew exactly what to do. So the, not only did we do Honolulu, which is on the island of Oahu, but we did Kauai, we did, all the other islands, but Kauai was my favorite one. It was like 51st dates. It was very small. Everything closed early. It closed, like, there was a sign that said now open till 9 p.m. And I'm like, are y'all serious? But if I would have had to book that myself without knowing anything, we would have been on Honolulu, basically at Miami Beach for 14. But we did go to Honolulu because of, you have to, but Pearl Harbor, and that was dope. But find a travel agent. Tell them exactly what you know, like.
Exactly. And find a travel agent, find a good travel company. A lot of the times, it doesn't even have to be anyone super established. I forgot where I went. When I went to Antigua, I'm not sure if my girlfriend Amber is in here for the first time. I've been to Antigua like 5 times.
So it is pronounced Antigua and not Antigua.
No. Oh, please don't. They get so mad over that.
Oh.
It's Antigua. And actually, if you guys want to definitely tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Black Travel Journey, the new Instagram live show that we've created to kind of keep our traveler fan base engaged in a time where we can't go anywhere, but we take virtual trips, like I was explaining to you yesterday, Steph. So the first time I went to Antigua, I literally had a friend of a friend who I trusted this friend, and he recommended Black Travel Journey. I see somebody in the comments, what's the travel page called? Black Travel Journey. It's spelled like it sounds. But I literally had a friend of a friend recommend me to this person, and I trusted this friend, so I knew if he passed on this person, it wouldn't be any type of funny stuff. And she actually was able to take me around the island and take me all these different places off the resort, take me to these like amazing, just natural experiences like waterfalls and all that type of stuff. And we ended up being super close. We're super close to this day. And it's just all about the relationships that you make there. Like now I could go there by myself and be fine.
Speaking of that, how do you feel about, especially Black women traveling by, well, you haven't seen this, so there was I don't want to spoil the episode because you didn't see it yesterday. I know you haven't seen it now. But excuse me, and that's not one of those coughs, by the way.
No,
I wasn't one of those coughs. But there's the show, The 20s. I love to watch it. And there's an episode where she travels, one of the young ladies on there travels to Paris by herself, and she has like, it's like a roller coaster trip. She has some ups, she has some downs, she has, you know, this and that. But, you know, there was some moments where it's like, it could be scary to travel by yourself, or it could be beneficial. So how do you feel, especially about women of color traveling by themselves?
Yeah, it's definitely, there, like I said, there's pros and cons of it. I have traveled by myself, especially during the times of these press junkets. Like when you get there, there's definitely other people from media that will be there, but just traveling and getting there. And sometimes even when you want to move around the city by yourself, it's definitely amazing. It's definitely a new experience when you travel by yourself, but you definitely have to be careful, especially as a woman. And I've heard horror stories, honestly, but I've also heard some super amazing success stories when people have traveled to these places by themselves and really have gotten to know not only the country but themselves, and they've been able just kind of to step outside their norm and really experience different things. So I recommend it, but again, it goes back to like planning, especially by yourself. You have to have everything ironed out, because you know there's countries where people are watching you, especially if they know you're American. They are watching you like a
sure.
They're just waiting for you to take the wrong turn, to walk down the wrong block, to hit the wrong corner, and you know they unfortunately will run up on you, try and rob you, or even just try and take advantage of you, like, hey, I know you have money, like give me some money.
Upcharge on you.
So I definitely suggest it. I would never tell anyone to not travel alone, but definitely have your ducks in a row and be able to really have someone there to help you navigate. But also, you know, just make sure for yourself, you got, you know, it comes down to small things like making sure you don't have a big bag, or making sure that you have a bag with a zipper so no one can reach in, and things that you would do normally in the States. You have to be extra sensitive and extra cautious of when you're traveling international.
Like sometimes I think I overthink, and it messed me up one time. One of the first times I went to Paris, I was like overthinking, overanalyzing. I ended up losing my wallet, and my cards. I lost everything.
That can happen when you're moving too fast.
But with that being said, the good thing, like you said, having a lady with her own, she had her own bankroll, so we was good. You know, I just had to reimburse her when we got back.
Listen, Steph, you do what you gotta do, honey. Do what you gotta do. But I always advise people to be careful and just have their ducks in a row when they're international, because that takes away a bunch of the risks. You just going here, boom, going there, boom, and everything will be pretty smooth.
And try the food. I know, like, a lot of people are, you know, chicken fingers and French fries type of people, and they won't try this. Listen, try the food, try the culture, indulge in. There's no point in traveling overseas and doing all of this stuff just so you can have pictures. The pictures are dope, but the experience is much more dope. So eat the food. You know what I'm saying? Go to these different places that you wouldn't you know, normally go to. Where in the world have you not been that you're looking forward to going to?
So I've done most of Europe. I've done South America. I've done majority of the islands. I want to do Asia, but not you know, like Thailand, like everyone does. But I would love to do like Singapore. I would love to do like Indonesia.
Have you done Tokyo?
I haven't.
Yo, I just did Tokyo. No, it's great. So, especially what we have going on and with this coronavirus right now, and shout out to all of my Asian friends and Asian Americans and Asians across the world. Please stop with the racism, stop with the you know, the prejudice and all of that. But outside of all of that, so I was in Tokyo last year, and we're like walking around, and I'm just realizing, like, yo, so I have like little Coca-Cola or something, or trash in my hand. I don't see any trash cans on the street. So I'm like, well, I don't want to just throw this on the ground. So I finally asked somebody, I'm like, yo, where can I throw this away? They like, what do you mean? I'm like, where's the trash can? They like, we don't have trash cans. I'm like, well, what do you do with the trash? They like, you take it back home where you live and you throw it out.
Yeah.
And I just started noticing Tokyo was the most clean city I ever seen in my life. There was no trash anywhere. You couldn't even smoke. Like people that, like you couldn't smoke outside. So you would walk down the street and there would just be like a random dome. And if you wanted to smoke, you would have to basically walk inside of a dome and smoke inside of the outside. And I'm like, yo, they have it all figured out. Everybody had their mask on. And, you know, that was a culture shock thing for me. I'm walking and I'm like, everybody has their mask on. Yeah. I'm like, you know,
that's
I'll do it.
America's gonna look soon.
Right. I'm like, I'll do it to fit in. But then I was like, I don't want to be like the guy that's like mocking the culture, so I'm not doing it. And I ended up asking somebody, I'm like, yo, why do you wear the mask? Is it so you don't get, I'm like, is it so you don't get sick or you don't get someone else sick? And they said it just depends. They said, if I'm not feeling well, then I'll wear it so I don't get someone else sick. And then, you know, some days I'll just wear it just because I know I'm going to be commuting on the train with a lot of people and I don't want to get sick. The place was clean. The place was immaculate. Everything was flowing smoothly. And then I'm like, yo, they had that kind of stuff figured out then. And look at us now, with at first people are like, wear masks. And they're like, no, everyone doesn't need masks. Now we're like, yo, everyone need masks. And I'm like, yo, they've been telling us.
Yeah,
so,
and it's crazy because like I told you, Steph, before this coronavirus pandemic really hit, we had an influencers trip planned with BT, with Essen, with Travel Noir, and a few other people. And then we had, those are our media partners, and then we had influencers also. But it really it hit kind of while we were there, which was a crazy experience.
You almost got stuck.
We're like, with Trump better let us back into this country. And even in Antigua, when news traveled to Antigua, and Antigua had announced that they had their first case, like America already had a lot of cases, but Antigua announced that they had their first one. And while we were there, they started rioting at the grocery store. So they started like breaking into the grocery stores, like taking things. And so it was an experience. And while we were scared, it's such an amazing place that we were in. So we kind of tried to not let that affect us. But on our travel back, we all had our masks on and we all had our gloves on. And there were people that were on the plane looking at us like, are y'all serious right now?
Right.
Really kind of like judging us.
Right.
Because, but now I'm like, now look at everybody.
Now look at us.
To wear a mask when they go in public. And I was like, we were just ahead of of everything. So I was like, y'all need to not be I don't have coronavirus and I was on the plane twice. So let's not judge. But it's so funny that you say that, because I know in the Asian cultures, also because of the air pollution, they had the masks and they didn't want to breathe in certain things. And, you know, they definitely were ahead of America in a few ways. But yeah, we had trips to Thailand planned this year. It's just so much that
I see you already got your vacation braids popping. You were ready to go.
Yeah, they're hanging on by the last thread, but they've been keeping me my hands out of my hair and letting my hair grow and things like that. But yes, everybody definitely go check out Around the World with Black Travel Journey. That's our baby. That's our new Instagram live show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m.
And the Instagram, once again, is Black Travel
Journey. Yes.
Now,
what's that?
No, you go. I'm sorry.
We literally take trips that we would have, physically taken before this coronavirus hit. So we had my friend Brittany Hampton. She's an amazing content creator. She won House of Diane von Furstenberg on E! Network. She won that show. She's from the Philippines. Her mom's from the Philippines, and we were supposed to go there with her and really experience that, but we couldn't. So instead, she took us on a virtual trip there. And I know you mentioned the food. Literally, during our interviews and during our virtual trips, we touch on where to stay, what to do, what food to eat, what places to eat. It's literally like a virtual tour guide from some faces that, we've come to love.
I love seeing Black people travel, especially Black women. And it's so dope when you're like a Black American and you're overseas and you see somebody and you're like, yo, you're like me. Where are you from? And they're like,
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
from Texas. They're like, hey, what?
yeah, it's like that. Honestly, it's like even in Europe, certain parts of Europe, it's you see different types of people of color, and it's like your eyes always connect. Like, yo, where are you from? And it's like a lot of the times, and you're at a bar and you're drinking, the vibes are good. People would just come up and just talk to you, like,
Right.
oh, where are you from? Oh, you're from New York. Oh, I love New York. Like, da, da, da. So it's very warming, and like my friend said in the comments, it's a way to really kind of connect with people and really broaden your horizons. And it's like I feel like every trip I take, I feel like I grow as a person. Because I'm seeing different things, I'm experiencing different things, I'm eating different foods, I'm talking to different people. So our journey with Black Travel Journey is to take different types of people on that journey with us, and it's been amazing so far.
Now, before we get up out of here, once again, guys, episode 8 of my Friends of the Program podcast is up right now. So, I like to post it on this. I like to post it on my, my personal DJ Steph Floss account. But it's so much going on. I really want you guys to please follow. It's under there, Friends of the Program _.
Yeah.
And just you could subscribe to it on everything: Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. We have Audio Mac, all of those. So, I'm saying, just stay up to date with it, because I have some amazing friends like Sidnee right here. And once again, celebrity journalist, reporter, world traveler. Before we get up out of here, give a give a list of some of the celebrities, your most memorable celebrity interviews that you've had.
Yeah. So, well, to start, Steph, thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's always a good time when we chat. But guys, definitely check out the podcast. We go into kind of my career and my favorite interviews and why, and there's funny stories on there and all that type of stuff. But I think what we talked about yesterday, my best interview was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for a number of reasons. But number one, he was the most humble.
Well, don't tell them too much. They got to listen to the podcast.
Okay, all right. Okay, so
just give us a list. Give us a list.
All right. Oh God, The Rock, 50 Cent, Mike Epps, Wesley Snipes, Tyra Banks, Taraji P. Henson, Jennifer Hudson, Taraji, Erykah Badu. Ooh,
I wish I could have been there for that one.
Oh, Erykah Badu was so amazing. She was radiating, so I was just trying to get some of that.
Yeah, I need some of that too.
I was just like, give me the vibe. Yes, I need all of it. But anyway,
I need some of that too.
Mekhi Phifer.
Shout out to Mekhi.
Said Tyra Banks. Kalani, Fetty Wap, Nick Jonas. The list goes on and on. That was like 10, 15 people right there. But again, I love talking to people, so it's kind of weird talking about myself here. But I love you so much, Steph, for doing this. I feel like I kind of need to tell my story more.
Yes, of course. Yeah, now let me ask you this: how did I do, as me being not a trained journalist and not a trained reporter? How did I do with my interviewing skills, with my questioning and my segues? Do I got pretty good segues and questioning?
You did, Steph. You did. Right. Definitely did. Like I said, you guys definitely check out the podcast. Steph had some great questions, had some out-of-the-box questions that kind of threw me for a little loophole, but it was amazing. We talked, all types of different stories. He asked best of things, worst of things. Our conversation on Kobe Bryant and the King situation was very interesting. I don't want to get into too much.
Yeah, we talk about Gayle King and Kobe Bryant. Yeah, that was.
And just me having, I guess, that journalistic perspective. You guys should definitely check that out. We talked my most exciting experiences as a journalist, my worst, bad interviews, good interviews. So it really was a great time talking with you, Steph, and I thank you. Thank you for doing this program, putting people in the forefront that have a good story to tell, like Ty. I saw you interviewed homegirl Heather.
Shout out to my homegirl Heather.
And she does amazing work at Viacom. So definitely shout out to you for this program. and you do a really good job. You know,
Thank you so
I feel
much.
like,
you know,
I feel like it's not on the fly. Like, I feel like our interview yesterday, like you actually maybe did some research or did, you know, just kind of picked up on our friendship. It's a mixture of friendship and actual, like,
hence friends of the program. You
yeah.
see how this works when you could just talk to your friend. Now, the thing I have to, I've had Rodney on here. Shout out to Rodney. But I realized I'm really, all of my friends, I got like 7 women. I got to get some more of my fella friends.
Like, get some more fellas. We'll definitely get Lo on here. Lo,
oh, yeah. That would be a good one.
Yeah, Lo's doing amazing things.
The issue with some of my fella friends is everybody interviews them all the time, and it's it's just like,
I'm sure he'll make some time for you, but
I got
dope one.
I got Lo, that Lo would be really good.
And his whole circle and his friend group, they're really doing some dope things with men's mental health and different podcasts and stuff.
Shout out to Cam.
Yeah.
By the way, I saved. I wanted to tweet this one day. I'll tweet it. I don't know if they remembered it. Somebody brought it up. It might have been Fox Files. I literally saved one of the first Paloozas before it was Duce Palooza. You know what other Palooza was? I kind of saved it. It was the first one in New York City. I popped up. We were partying, whatever. It was some sound issues, and no one could figure it out. But I wasn't DJing, but the DJ figured it out.
You so amazing.
I saved the Palooza.
That's why we had to have you at Body Roll. And hopefully, you know, once things get back to
hook some stuff up.
We would love to have you again. So.
All right, Sid, I'm about to let you go. I love you. I appreciate you so much.
You.
Everyone, make sure once again you follow Sid Mitch, MICH_, short for Sidnee Michelle. Everything is down here on my pen. You see this right here? My pinned comments, Sid Mitch _, like a commercial, and friends of the program _ as well as Black Travel Journey. Yes, Sidney, you're amazing. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend of the program. And yeah, I'm gone. We're gone. Love you.
Love you.
See ya.